Welcome to the City. I'm Anthony Wilson, the Public Information Officer for the City of San Angelo. And today we have a special episode of the City that's going to focus entirely on San Angelo's 20 under 40 honorees this year. This is a program that was begun a few years ago by the San Angelo Standard-Times. And joining us now is the publisher of the Standard-Times, Jeff Deloach. Jeff, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Anthony.
So tell us a little bit about how and why this 20 under 40 program came to be.
Well, a number of years ago, I had been obviously spending a lot of time meeting new people in the community, and a lot of the elders of the community were, saying who's going to be, who's going to be sitting on the board of the Chamber of Commerce whenever we're not here? Who's going to be future city council people? Who's going to be leading our community economically or otherwise? And there's a lot of organizations in our community that are non-for-profit, that are beneficial to the community. They all have boards. Who's going to be there? And and hearing them say, we were educating a lot of young people right here at Angelo State and Howard College, and a lot of them are moving off to the Metroplex, Austin, et cetera, and who are the young people that are here having an impact today? And we need to figure out a way to recognize them, or at least to identify them, to get them involved. And I heard that for a little while, and I got wind of a newspaper that was recognizing 20 people under 40 in their community. And I started thinking, that's a great question I've been hearing for a while in San Angelo, and I think that we could probably do something like this, even more so grand than the newspaper that I'd recognized. But, we might initially think of the 20 under 40 as being a Standard-Times project, but I never saw it that way. I saw it as a community project. I saw it as something that would benefit the entire community, and the paper could maybe play a role by helping to highlight who those individuals are, and then in a more grand way, introduce them to our community. And so, but I knew that not only did we want to have a publication highlighting these 20, we wanted to have some type of a dinner banquet or some sort of way to really make it first class at a sit-down dinner in the evening, and to get some of our current community leaders at that event, at that banquet, to celebrate it with those 20 people every year. So I knew to do all of that was going to be financially, maybe not a challenge, but there's going to be some financial aspects of it that needed to take place. So I called a few people that I've gotten to know here in San Angelo that are currently community leaders, through the concept out there about, hey, what would you think if every year we recognize 20 people that are under 40 years old, and then we get them more so involved even than they are today in San Angelo, and try to encourage them to stay right here, make their life here, make their career here. And literally I called about 10 people, different organizations, and I think out of the 10 we got 7 of them said, absolutely, I love that idea, what do I need to do to help? And so while the Standard-Times is doing a lot of the lifting of it, it really is a community effort, because without the sponsors, it wouldn't happen the way it happens. So that's basically how the concept came about, and we're going into our 4th year of doing it, and it's been a big success.
So one other quick question before we take a look at the 20 honorees. Are you hoping that this also inspires maybe even a younger generation to become engaged and involved in their community?
Well, absolutely, I do. And, we run a lot of promotion in the paper about it, encouraging the community to nominate people. I mean, we've been very impressed with how many nominations we get every year. And so there's that type of awareness. And then also, one of the unique things about the banquet, the dinner banquet, is we're hosting it on ASU's campus. And then we're recognizing 20 people who are under 40 that are already pursuing and being successful with their career. And the meal that night is prepared and served by the San Angelo Independent School District culinary students. So we've involved high school kids and along with current on a college campus to celebrate the young professionals. And so we've also involved as a benefactor San Angelo young professionals of San Angelo to be a part of this program as well.
So without further ado, let's take a look at this year's 20 under 40.
Hello, I'm Scott Turner, Vice President of Marketing and Quality Assurance at Time Clock Plus. You know, recognition encourages engagement, and engagement increases retention. Our company strongly believes that. Just last September, global giant Oracle released a report that said 42% of employees say that the recognition from their peers has the most influence on them. That same report said that when it comes to driving employment engagement, 53% said the recognition of their achievements is what drives them, and 35% said a greater understanding of their contribution is what drives them. Those are huge numbers, and that's a concept that we've understood for almost 3 decades. It's one of the things that has contributed to the growth and success of our 27-year-old company. We started with 2 guys in 1988, and today we employ more than 130 people. We recognize the hard work and contribution of high-performing team members, and then we encourage and challenge them to do more. Our company has had a record year every year, and today we are a national leader in workforce management solutions. And really, we're just getting started. All of that success and growth, and we're right here in San Angelo. So we want to take this concept to another level. What if we use the same philosophy that recognition encourages engagement and engagement increases retention, and we apply it to our city? We believe that if we do, we can keep the extraordinary talent we have in San Angelo right here in San Angelo. And that's why we've always believed in the 20 under 40 program. We recognize the efforts of a few key individuals every year and encourage and challenge them to heighten their engagement within the community to help us all make San Angelo the very best San Angelo can be. We are so proud of this program, and we're a huge fan of this city. We have 2 20 under 40 recipients in our own company. Our president, Jordy Mormon, is a member of the 20 under 40 class of 2012, and our senior vice president, Ernie Neighbors, is a member of the 20 under 40 class of 2014. Our company and this program are a testament to the potential results that can happen when the best of San Angelo is recognized, encouraged, and challenged. That's made our company stronger, and we believe it will also make our community stronger. On behalf of the amazing team at Time Clock Plus, I congratulate the class of 2015 and encourage them to continue their journey and challenge them to a deeper engagement with community functions and organizations here in San Angelo. Because they are the future, and together we can make San Angelo the very best it can be.
My style of leadership varies depending on what circumstance I'm in. Obviously, it is my job as the district attorney. Sometimes I have to be the leader that says that we have to do this, this, and this is how we're going to get it done. I prefer to have people be able to participate more so that they have a stake in leadership roles. So I like to involve people in making decisions for me as much as possible so that I don't have to be the one that always says we need to do this, this, and this. But I do realize that there are times when that's my job and that's what I have to do. But I prefer to, try different avenues to get leadership in my office, in my personal life, and, just in life in general.
I think leadership is meaningful in lots of ways, and there's lots of ways you can interpret that. But I think the main way is that when you think of leadership, I think if you are a leader, you never know who's following you. I think that you have the aspect to know that as a leader, you have the responsibility to always lead. Because are you leading somebody in the wrong direction, whether it's in the office, out of the office, in church, we're wrong friends. I think it's something that you really need to focus on. So if the way I think that it is meaningful is to truly never take it for granted of who is following you, because you never know when you turn around who's actually going to be following you.
So I would say all this is how I hope I'm actually living it out. But first of all, just trying to be as positive and as uplifting as I possibly can. Recognizing that people are human. We all have our shortfalls, but how can you really focus on people's strengths and edify them and build them up, and then identify how they can put those strengths to best use to serve others. I certainly try to have a servant's attitude about that, but I think also approaching difficult situations with your game face on is something to keep in mind, because people will follow suit. So how you react is typically how those around you will react. So trying to set a standard there.
Good evening. I'm Fred Hernandez, Manager of External Affairs with AEP Texas. AEP Texas is a proud sponsor of this year's 20 Under 40 program. We congratulate all the award recipients, and we thank Jeff DeLoach and the San Angelo Standard-Times for their effort in spearheading this great event. This is the type of event that recognizes the important role local contributions and volunteers play in the continued success of San Angelo and the surrounding areas. AEP Texas has roots that run deep in West and South Texas, and for nearly a century, AEP Texas has played a very prominent role in the cities, communities, and areas we serve. That role extends well beyond the delivery of electricity and the restoration of service throughout our 97,000 square mile service territory. AEP Texas employees know the value of volunteerism and would like to encourage each and every recipient to find a local project or initiative and volunteer some time and resources to that cause. It's this approach to volunteerism that makes San Angelo a wonderful place to live.
I think leadership becomes meaningful whenever you do inspire someone or even motivate them in a positive way. And I only know that because I'm on the receiving end of it. People who I look up to, and even my 14-year-old daughter inspires me in her leadership roles. So it can come from anywhere, not just the mayor or the president or, someone in that flashy spotlight.
I think it really comes down to having a sense of fearlessness. I think you have to be able to stand up and do the things you need to do without being scared to speak up. You need to be self-aware and accountable for the decisions you make, because at a certain point you're making them on behalf of others. And those people are seeking you to inspire them. So whenever I think of myself being in that type of position, I keep those things in mind. I think those things are really important. In a leadership position, you have to be humble. You have to be willing to work well with others and communicate well. And at the same time, you have to recognize the things you're not as good at, and recognize that those are some qualities that you might find in other people, and include them in your team.
I think leadership is meaningful in those situations because we have to keep moving forward. Next generation is going to come up, and if you don't show them how things should keep running or how to move forward into the future, if there's no one there to set the example, then things aren't going to change for the better. Maybe there'll be a constant negative attitude. If you don't show positive attitude and positive leadership, then you're just going to fall into a slump of negative. So leadership is good to set the example of what should be changing for the positive, or if not changing, staying the same for the positive. I think leadership's always going to be needed because people are always going to need someone to follow. They're always going to need an example to follow.
Hello, I am Mayor Dwayne Morrison, and I want to offer my warmest congratulations to this year's 20 Under 40. I'm both pleased and proud that the City of San Angelo is once again partnering with the Standard-Times in this annual honoring of rising young leaders in our community, and we believe that this recognition inspires others to reach for great achievements professionally, personally, and civically. We have a great community. Imagine how much greater it would be if we all engaged in it to the degree of this year's 20 honorees. The City of San Angelo encourages these young leaders and all of our citizens to consider volunteering their time and their talents to one of our 19 boards and commission, and I'm not just hoping some of this year's 20 will eventually serve as city council meetings or as mayor. I'm counting on it. Again, congratulations to this year's 20 Under 40. San Angelo is proud of you.
Well, before I define leadership, I kind of have to bring a little context to it. So, I grew up in a Greek-American household, and the first phrase that comes to mind, and this is a very uniquely Greek word, it's called philotimo, philo timo. Philo means friend or love, and timo means honor. So friend of honor. It's a very complex word that doesn't exist in the English language, and it has a constellation of virtues that are associated with it, of respect, honor, fellowship, doing what is right for yourself, for your family, and for your community. And that goes in my definition of leadership. When I think of leadership, I think of somebody that has a vision, creates a plan, executes the plan, and produces positive results.
I really strive to be a servant leader. That is, to lead is to serve. So, using, like I said, your time, your resources that you've learned, your knowledge, and help these women, up and coming leaders of tomorrow, get to where they need to be. I love the quote that Maya Angelou says where, it's not, people won't remember what you did or said, they will remember how you made them feel. So I take that really seriously, empowering people, giving them the support they need, letting them know that I will motivate them, support them, and do anything I can to help them reach their full potential.
I like to lead by example. I like to be the person on the forefront. I don't like to lead from behind. If it takes, going and setting up all the tables, if it takes, writing the thank you notes, if it takes, putting the stamps on the 200 invitations that we sent out to everybody to attend one of our events, I want to be there on the forefront. I'm not going to be the person from behind telling everybody what to do. I want to inspire people, and part of that is, being in the middle of it. And I want to find what everybody wants to work on and what everybody's good at. I don't think that you can force people to do something that they're not good at. And so I think part of being a leader is finding everybody's strengths and weaknesses and capitalizing on what their strengths are. So if somebody is really good at fundraising, taking that, and if somebody really enjoys decorating, taking that and going with it and just finding what everybody's strengths are. Because if you're focusing and telling people what to do, they're less likely to get excited about it. They're not going to want to do something because you've told them. You want to do something because that's what they want to do.
Good evening. I'm Mike Boyd, President and CEO of First Financial Bank San Angelo. I'd like to congratulate you on being selected to the 2015 class of 20 under 40. Your accomplishments collectively are impressive. The key to making San Angelo a better place for all of us is your involvement in the community. We have 19 United Way agencies and over 475 nonprofit organizations in San Angelo. Many of these organizations desperately need your expertise. Study each one and determine where you need to be. Be aggressive, contact them, and tell them you want to serve. I challenge you to always pay it forward. And again, congratulations to each one of you.
Definitely the team approach. In coaching, there's obviously a head coach. In life, there's a head coach. I mean, we all have that boss or someone that we answer to. But to me, a good coach, a good leader takes a step back, and you let the team around you, let them bring you up and bring everyone else up around you. And that's kind of in coaching what we did. I mean, we had to have the athletes, we had to have the students to succeed, but we had to give them the tools to succeed. And they took us on the ride. They took us on the journey. I mean, we couldn't get out. We couldn't play the games. We had to give them the tools to be successful. And I think as a leader, you have to do the same thing. You have to give the people you're surrounded with the tools to be successful, the things they need to succeed. And then once you've done that, kind of, you sit back and you let them be successful, let them see, and let them have the joy of success. It's kind of knowing your seat on the bus. I mean, there's times to be at the front, to be the driver. There's times to sit in the middle, and there's times to sit at the back. You can't always be that guy driving the bus. You got to know where to fit in. You have to know what the situation needs. And every situation needs someone different and a different type of leader and a different type of person to make it successful.
I think on a school campus, leadership is so important because teaching is a very difficult job. Many times outside of the school setting, teachers and education is quick to be criticized. But it's the most rewarding profession in my personal opinion. And so I think as the leader of the campus, it's bringing your staff, your students, every person that works in that school building together. And if you need communication, and you also need to be positive and uplifting so that they are reminded we can do this and we're in this together. We're not out on a separate island.
I'm definitely a lead by example leader. I think mentoring and empowering is very important. You need to mentor and empower others to become leaders, because ultimately that's how we're going to make the biggest contributions in our own community. Girl Scouts definitely, I think, teaches it best when they teach about the power of one, the power of team, and the power of community. By impacting or mentoring one person to become a leader, you're ultimately impacting the community.
Hello, I'm Lynn Shipley, Unit Director of HEB in San Angelo, Texas. HEB is proud to be a sponsor of this year's 20 Under 40 recognition. HEB's culture is centered on our great partners, and we are honored to be here to recognize the exceptional performers in San Angelo. Being selected as a 20 Under 40 recognizes that you have a vision of greatness which you have achieved through constant improvement, breakthrough thinking, and sacrifice. Our honorees are leaders who are involved in our community and have successful career paths. At HEB, our stand is simple but very important to us. Each and every person counts. HEB would like to congratulate you on your induction into the 20 Under 40 honorees for 2015.
Leadership is, to me, it's having the dedication and the drive, the passion and the heart to be able to mold people, to be able to change people, to be able to help them grow mentally, physically, emotionally, and to me, most importantly, spiritually.
You know, my main priority is to lead by example. I'm also very hands-on, so I don't ask people to do things that I'm not out there usually helping them with or have done in the past. So I try to, mainly lead by example, and people know that I've done that, and I'm not, overstepping something I haven't done or I don't know how to do. And if I don't, I'll ask our team for help. So I think building the team is the biggest part of how I lead. I mean, I try to get the right people in place to complete our work. So
I define leadership as a person who can motivate, inspire, really almost a person who can bring out the best in people, bring out those God-given skills that they have, many times that they may not even know they have, be able to bring that all together into a group that can really focus on, and the leader gives, I think, a lot of the focus on the mission, to be able to bring a stronger group that can accomplish a lot more than any one person can. So, defining leadership, I think that leadership role can take lots of different aspects. I think it can look very differently every time. Whatever the common goal or the mission may require of a person, I think that leader's being able to fill there and motivate and give focus to that mission. That way that so many more people can do so many greater things than that one individual can.
Good evening. I'm Brittany Raganall, Controller for Republic Services. On behalf of our company, I want to congratulate this year's 20 Under 40 honorees. Most of all, Republic Services wishes to say thank you for all the hours you've invested in our community through your volunteer service. San Angelo needs bright young individuals such as you serving our great city in so many varying capacities. Thanks again, and we wish you all continued success.
I think leadership is important because there are people who are just looking for guidance. They're looking for someone to lead them in the right direction so that they can do outstanding things. I think it's important. They're looking up to someone to take that first step or make that hard decision. And then they're right there behind you to support you to do it. And then it becomes the success of the group and not just your success.
I think leadership is meaningful because you have to have someone that knows the direction that the department needs to go. And whether people are happy or unhappy with your decisions, you know that it's for the greater good of the department. Also, just personally, I think leadership is important because you have to have good leadership skills and someone making good decisions to pass on to future generations. People have done that for me, and I hope to do that for my son and people that come later.
You know, as a historian, I always look at individuals and what they said in history, and we're always looking at those wonderful quotes that you can put on T-shirts. And I always have liked this quote that has been attributed to John Quincy Adams, who was 6th President of the United States and, son of John Adams, 2nd President. And it said that, a good leader is somebody who inspires somebody to become more, to learn more, to do more, to be more. That kind of is how I think a leader should be. Somebody who inspires people to do more, to become more, to learn more, to just to be more of themselves and make more of themselves. I think that's what a leader does. Unfortunately, through research, it seems that Dolly Parton also said that. So whether John Quincy Adams or Dolly Parton said it, it is a wonderful quote.
Good evening. I'm Brian Horner, President and CEO of Shannon Medical Center. On behalf of everyone at our Shannon family, I would like to say congratulations to all of this year's 20 Under 40 honorees. Shannon is proud to support the 20 Under 40 program because it recognizes talent and leadership within our community. Not only do each of these individuals make a difference for their companies or organizations, they continue the tradition of making San Angelo a great place to live for their family, friends, and neighbors. At Shannon, we live by the ASPIRE values: accountability, service, pride, integrity, respect, and excellence. I'm proud to recognize these same qualities in our 20 honorees and encourage them to continue their work of making a difference in our community. We look forward to their future accomplishments and are proud to salute tonight's top 20 leaders.
Well, I think everybody likes to grow. They look towards somebody to learn something new. And we're all a little bit afraid of making mistakes on our own. And so if we have somebody to look to do the things that we do on a daily basis and get suggestions, and then it's a little bit easier to complete tasks. And that's why I think in an organization this size, you've got to have leadership at different levels so that we have people to rely on and suggestions and people to feed off of, because it can be daunting, the tasks that we have to handle on a daily basis. We're dealing with, in some cases, people's lives. Obviously, the function of the city, what citizens have access to on a daily basis. So it's important decisions, and having somebody to rely upon definitely makes it easier for our employees.
I would define leadership as stepping out of your comfort zone and working with others, using your vision, your drive, your goals to accomplish, something, a common goal with these people. I think about like Meals for the Elderly and how, we all come together to accomplish getting out hundreds of meals every day to these little elderly people, and it takes a lot of leadership in order to accomplish that.